Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Real. It's Slayer Sunday, where I'll be talking about and reviewing all the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in order. Today, I'm looking at Season 3, Episode 14, Bad Girls. We begin the episode with Buffy and Faith fighting vampires, with the latter asking the former if she's ever gone to Pound Town with Xander. Buffy's response is to stake her opponent, so Faith follows suit. She can't believe that Buffy and Xander have never hooked up, but Buffy notices an extra set of footprints, and they go after the straggler who brought swords to a stake fight, and gets a pointy end of Faith's. The swords the guy was using suddenly disappear thanks to Mr. Trick, who presents them to Mayor Dick. We get a bit of an info dump where the mayor says the dedication in a couple of days is the final step before his ascension to a higher plane, so these sword-wielding doofuses better not get in the way. And into the credits we go. In school, Willow and her Christmas jumper are excited about all the colleges who are offering places, and then Cordelia shows up just to be bitchy.
Well, Xander, I could dress more like you, but... oh, my father has a job.
Seriously, they're doing sod all with her character lately. Buffy walks into the library to find...
New Watcher?
New Watcher.
This stuffed shirt is Wesley, played by Alexis Denisoff, Alison Hannigan's in-real-life husband. They make a cute little family. Buffy wants to make sure he's not another Gwendolyn Post, and neither she or Giles are fans of this asshat. He wants to know about the patrol she went on, and despite Buffy's vague information, Wesley determines that the vampires she and Faith dusted were part of a cult that worshipped a demon called Balthazar. But he dead. However, his amulet could be the reason they're back in town, so Wesley orders her to go and get it.
Whenever Giles sends me on a mission, he always says, please. And afterwards, I get a cookie.
Faith wanders in and...
New Watcher?
New Watcher.
Screw that.
Buffy goes after Faith, who is not interested in helping, so that night, Buffy goes to look for the amulet alone. She finds it, but has to hide when the Dick Squad shows up, and this amulet reminds me of the plastic Anastasia hologram toys you used to get free in cereal. They take it and sod off, so Buffy comes out of hiding, only to be jump scared by Faith, who wants to go after them. Buffy thinks it's a dumb idea, and she is correct. But too late, Faith dives in feet first and they end up in a fight, with one guy getting hit with a flying stake. One of the vamps try to drown Buffy, again, which she does not appreciate. So she grabs the amulet, which Wesley inspects with the teeniest magnifying glass, and he's rather put out that Buffy is still acting like Giles is her watcher. The gang have a chemistry test, which Buffy insists on talking through, and when Xander's eye twitches when Buffy mentions Faith, he covers it with his hand. Yeah, get used to that particular look, dude. Faith rocks up to the window, so Buffy ditches her test and climbs out the window only to bust into a vampire nest and then go dancing. If this sequence looks familiar, it's mirrored by Kitty and Rogue in the X-Men Evolution episode Spike Cam. The rest of the scene has way too many flashing lights for me to want to edit, but basically Angel shows up to warn Buffy that Balthazar isn't dead, Wesley shows up to be annoying, Buffy yoinks the amulet that he's just walking around with and gives it to Angel, and they all go their separate ways, with Buffy dragging Faith off the dance floor. Holy shit, it's Human Bender!
Party!
And he's having a tubby time tantrum because they failed to get his amulet. He does something to this vampire, no dusting sound, but his neck does snap, and I think he's dead. Ugh, this guy is gross. Faith wants to burst in there, but Buffy insists they go better equipped, so they break into a store and steal a bunch of weapons before they're busted by the cops. Their bad behaviour continues when they kick their way to a crashed cop car, and despite her reservations, Buffy flees with Faith. Mayor Dick wants an update.
So, any news about the Illuminati?
And man, that jump scare really got me! Balthazar is still losing his shit, and now's a good time to point out he is played by Christian Clemenson, who had a recurring supporting role on CSI Miami as Dr. Tom Lohman. Willow gives Buffy the protection spell that she was working on in Gingerbread before Faith whisks her away, while Giles and Wesley argue over who is better suited to be Buffy's watcher. But hey Wesley, watch this. Buffy and Faith get into it with the vamp doofuses, with Faith taking one out with an arrow, and Buffy finishing off her opponent just off screen. But the fun keeps coming with Buffy dusting this dude. They round the corner where they're grabbed and Faith stakes him, but no Faith, that's a bad Faith.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Buffy does her best to help, but the inevitable happens, and Faith drags Buffy away from the scene. She runs into Angel, who tells her,
They got Giles.
while Faith goes back to poke the dead dude.
Moisten the front.
Ew, this guy. Wesley and Giles are brought before his royal ickiness, and they have very different ways of dealing with the situation. Giles tries his stand-up routine, while Wesley tries to throw Angel under the bus, as he has the amulet. To his credit, Giles bargains for Wesley's life before Angel shows up with Buffy in tow. A fight breaks out with Giles being pretty nifty with a sword, and he saves Wesley from a vampire. We get a long look at the Buffy stunt double, and whoa, that was freaking cool! But Balthazar has had enough and gets hold of Angel, so Buffy swiftly electrocutes him. Mayor Dick is chanting some nonsense, but also wonders where Alan is.
He's usually so punctual.
He gives the jump scare vamp back his sword and tells Trick to open the cage. He does, and the vamp turns Mayor Dick's head into wonky CGI before Mr. Trick stakes him. He's now immortal until the Ascension, and Buffy visits Faith, who admits to disposing of Alan's body and doesn't seem to give a flying fuck that she killed him. Alright, we're getting to the Faith turning point of the season, so this is where I'm going to start to lose interest. We still have some great episodes to come, but these couple of Faith-heavy episodes are just not my jam. I don't like Faith, and her leading Buffy astray is really disappointing and feels a bit out of character for Buffy. Maybe if this episode had immediately followed Helpless, her acting up would make sense, but it's not even clear what she's rebelling against. We get Wesley introduced, who I find annoying, but that's intentional, and the best parts of this episode are him and Giles interacting. Balthazar, besides being disgusting, is a bit of a nonsense throwaway villain. He was around 100 years ago and was killed, but not really, and now he's here wanting his amulet back, which does what exactly? And what the hell has he been doing for the past 100 years? The main bit of this episode was Faith killing Alan, which will propel the rest of the season, and Buffy makes an important point that there's a big difference between Slayer and Killer. You can see in that moment the difference between Faith and Buffy, and while Faith acts tough, she's fragile on the inside, whereas Buffy is outwardly compassionate, but at her centre she's the responsible and reliable one. This mirroring effect is really important for the rest of the season. It's a bit of a side note, but I like that we get non-evil vampire Angel in the battle with Balthazar. It's easy to forget what Angel really is, so having him fight with his fangs out is a nice reminder of his vampire side, and it's pretty badass to boot. We have a total of 12 deaths in this one. 1 human, Alan, accidentally killed by Faith, 1 demon, Balthazar, electrocuted by Buffy, and 10 vampires. 1 Buffy stakes at the beginning, followed by 1 Faith dusts, with them tracking down another which Faith also stakes. Then it's back to Buffy for a vamp kill in the sewers, with 1 receiving a death by neck snap, courtesy of Balthazar. We have another Faith stakes with an arrow, and that off-screen dusting Buffy performs, with an on-screen one, again, by Buffy. This guy gets beheaded by Giles, who unfortunately saved Wesley's life, and we finish up with this guy, who is staked from behind by Mr. Trick. That brings our running total to 35 humans, 4 transformations, 39 vampires, 16 demons, and 4 zombies. So there you have it. That was Bad Girls. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot. Or consider subscribing if you want more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and don't let the vampires bite.